Hello everybody and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel, and for those of you that really missed the Premier League football, the international break, you'll be pleased to know, is now behind us, and roughly 48 hours from now Premier League football will be back, although United of course don't play until Sunday, a 7:30 kick-off Sunday evening, United and Brighton. England played last night. I watched the England game. It was apart from Poland away, obviously it was Poland at Wembley. It's the toughest fixture they play in the group, the two Poland games really, and they beat Poland 2-1, so it was an important win for England. The Poles made a right fist of it. It was a good game, decent game, and England took the lead in the first half with a penalty from Harry Kane. John Stones, I've seen John Stones do similar things before, a little bit lackadaisical on the edge of his own box in the second half and had the ball taken from him, and Poland equalised. And Harry Maguire came up with a rocket. Luckily for John Stones, he sort of got himself out of trouble. He was the one who won the header from a corner and knocked it down, and Harry Maguire blasted it in like an experienced centre forward. Harry Kane would have been proud of the finish that Harry Maguire applied there. So Harry Maguire got the winner for England. So they won 2-1. They are now top of the group with 9 points, red hot favourites really. That was a real possible banana skin, Poland at home. So England are looking like red hot favourites already to qualify for Qatar 2022. This summer it's the European Championships of 2020 that were obviously put back a year. It starts in June, about June the 10th I think it starts. And the England team, I think, is now taking shape, looking forward towards that tournament. There's no more competitive football, by the way, until that tournament starts in June. England have got two friendlies early in June. They play Romania and they play Austria in friendly games at Wembley before the big game against Croatia. England's first game in the Euros is on June the 13th against Croatia. The England team, the Independent, by the way, got it exactly right. They predicted that there would be one change to the team that lined up against Albania. So I was explaining on the show yesterday that England started with a team against San Marino, to which they made quite a few changes to the game against Albania. But Albania, although they're not a great team, they're a tougher opposition than San Marino. So the way the draw, I don't think Gareth Southgate could have asked for the draw and the fixtures to have fallen better for him. In the first game, he managed to play whichever team he wanted to play. They were always going to beat San Marino, surely. And then against Albania, it gave him a chance to play a few players against San Marino who wouldn't play against Albania. Then against Albania, he sort of used it as a warm-up game. I thought he might do that. He sort of used it as a warm-up game, really, for the Poland game, and played virtually the exact same team. And the one change, that's the exact same team against Albania that he then used against Poland. So the Independent got it dead right. The one change, and they predicted it, was that Luke Shaw, I was quite surprised. Luke Shaw played against Albania and was then left out against Poland. I think you've got to say at this stage, it looks like Southgate's preference might well be Ben Chilwell as opposed to Luke Shaw. So the team, as I say, the Independent got it dead right. It was Pope in goal. Pope let a goal in for the first time, by the way. 6 clean sheets on the bounce was a record for an England keeper from his debut. So he let his first goal in yesterday after 7 games. So we won't be thanking John Stones for that very much. So the back four was Walker, Stones, Maguire and Chilwell, and a midfield of Phillips and Rice, and then Mount as the attacking midfield player, and Foden wide on one flank, Sterling the other, and Harry Kane up top. So I think, like I say, they've got 2 friendly games now between now and the Euros starting. So it's going to be pretty close, I think, to Southgate's starting lineup once the Euros do come around. Surely Luke Shaw's going to keep the pressure on Chilwell at left back, so maybe that's not set in stone. But then the rest of the team, I could perhaps see Jordan Henderson coming in for Phillips, perhaps. And I also don't think Maddison or Grealish are going to go away too easily when we talk about the attacking midfield role for Maddison, perhaps, or maybe even attacking midfield or wide left for Grealish. Grealish was the talk of the town, so to speak, the last time England played before this international break. He played really well during that break, so I don't think he'll be losing his place in the squad too easily. So I think he'll be putting pressure on. So that's that for the England team now until, as I say, June when they play 2 friendlies before the Euros start, and the World Cup qualifiers are on the back burner for quite a while. England under 21s played yesterday. I'm going to come to some more World Cup qualifiers, but I'll just finish with England. England under 21s played in the under 21 European Championship. I mentioned this yesterday. They needed to win, and they also needed Portugal to beat Switzerland to have a chance of going through, but they needed certain results for it to go to goal difference. I found it interesting how the table finished, by the way, but England, to be guaranteed of going through, they needed to win by 2 clear goals, and they needed Portugal to beat Switzerland by 3 clear goals. And lo and behold, Portugal beat Switzerland 3-0. So England needed to win 2-0 really to get through, and they were leading 2-0 against Croatia as the clock ticked just over the 90 minutes. And just into injury time, the Croatian players scored an absolutely fantastic goal from outside the box and pulled it back to 2-1. And that knocked England out. So with one kick of the ball in injury time of the last game, Croatia managed to climb into second place, and England went to the bottom of the group. I've not managed to find any concrete evidence of this. I've been searching to see how it worked, but I think I can work out how it worked. Portugal got 9 points, so obviously won the group. So Croatia finished second, Switzerland third, and England bottom of the group. But the interesting thing to me was that it goes on the head-to-head results. So Croatia beat Switzerland, and Switzerland beat us, and we beat Croatia. So it's a circle. So they had to sort it out by goal difference. So Croatia went through on goal difference with a goal difference of -1. But then in second place was Switzerland with -3, and then bottom of the group, England with -2. So what I'm assuming must have happened is that Croatia have gone through on goal difference, but once they've decided that second place on goal difference, because the 3 teams have all beaten each other, if you follow, they've all beaten each other, those 3 teams, they're all on 3 points. They decided it on goal difference, which was Croatia with -1. But once they've decided that one, I think it's then gone on the head-to-head to see who, not that it matters who finishes third, I just find it interesting in the table, because Switzerland in third have got a worse goal difference than England, who are bottom. So I think they must have used the head-to-head for the bottom 2 places once Croatia had gone through on goal difference, because the head-to-head was just a big circle, if you like. So England have got no tournament to go to, the under-21s, on June, I think June the 1st that starts, or maybe one day before that. And so Portugal and Croatia go through, and Switzerland and England miss out. Back to the World Cup qualifiers. Last night, Group F, I said yesterday that the Faroe Isles are not quite a pushover that they used to be, but Scotland made short shrift of them, to be honest. They beat them 4-0. John McGinn, the Villa midfield player, got 2 goals. Ryan Fraser got 1, and Shea Adams, the Southampton striker, weighed in with the other goal. Scott McTominay played a full game. It was really important that they were on the ball yesterday to win that game. You know, on another day, if they weren't up for it, the Faroe Islands might have nicked a point, but it's really important that he won it. Denmark are on 9 points after the first 3 games now. With that win, Scotland are on 5 points, so you'll see how vital it was. Israel are on 4 and Austria are on 4. So obviously Scotland, you know, if they'd have dropped points yesterday, would have been behind Israel and Austria. It's looking like a 3-way fight for the second spot. Some might rule Israel out. I wouldn't rule Israel out just yet. I really fancy Denmark to win that group, and Scotland, Israel and Austria fighting it out for second spot. So the Scots are in second spot at the moment. As I say, Scott McTominay played a full game. I'm sure he'll be fit for the weekend game against Brighton for United. Also in the World Cup qualifiers in Group C, Northern Ireland 0, Bulgaria 0 in their group. Italy are on 9 points in their group. Switzerland are second with 6 points and Northern Ireland third with 1 point. That looks like they're well behind, but you've got to take into account not Northern Ireland, as I say, they drew 0-0 with Bulgaria yesterday, but they've played Italy. Switzerland haven't played Italy yet. So Switzerland have got 6 points out of 6 at the moment, but I wouldn't rule Northern Ireland out yet of making a fist of that game. I mean, obviously the Swiss are capable of taking something off Italy, but Northern Ireland will be hoping that Italy go ahead and win all the rest of their games and take 6 points off Switzerland. I'm sure of it. That's what they'll be hoping for anyway. So although it looks a big gap, the Swiss haven't yet played Italy, and Northern Ireland have got one of the Italy games out of the way. In Group D, France played. I'll mention this one because Paul Pogba played a full game. No sign of Anthony Martial, not even on the bench. So I think that might be looking like he might be missing really for Sunday's game against Brighton for United. France won 1-0 in Bosnia and Herzegovina, 1-0 win. Griezmann with the goal. As I say, Pogba played a full game, so maybe Pogba will be fit for Sunday evening against Brighton. And nothing to do with United players playing, but unbelievable happenings. Well, unbelievable to me in Group J. Armenia are top of the group on 9 points, and Germany are in the group. Germany yesterday got beat at home 2-1 by North Macedonia. I was stunned when I saw that result, and I wasn't really surprised because I knew he was still playing. I looked at the goal scorers, and 37-year-old Goran Pandev scored one of the goals for North Macedonia, and he really is one of my favourite players there, Goran Pandev. I spotted him playing against England for Macedonia. I think it was just called Macedonia at the time, or the Federal Republic of Macedonia. It must be 18, 19 years ago when I saw him playing at Wembley against England. I really thought, what a fine player. Would it have been Wembley? It might not have been Wembley at a time ago. Wembley might have been closed. It might have been at Old Trafford, thinking back to it. But Goran Pandev, 37 years old, still going strong, getting a goal for North Macedonia against Germany, and beating Germany was fantastic for them. And it's left Group J looking like this. Armenia, believe it or not, are top with 9 points. North Macedonia have got 6 points in second, and Germany are third on 6 points, and that's after 3 games each. I'm sure Germany will come strong and make their way out of that position. I'm sure they will. But still, that's a great night for North Macedonia, and a brilliant for Goran Pandev. I've always enjoyed watching him. He's a super player, and to get a goal against Germany at 37, I'm well pleased for him. A little bit of news that I saw yesterday. UEFA have guaranteed fans will be allowed, some fans will be allowed into the Champions League final in Istanbul. They've guaranteed a minimum of 9,000, with half going to each of the 2 qualifying clubs. But I've said that that's the minimum. They're hoping that it's going to be more than that. So a minimum of 9,000 fans being allowed into the Champions League final in Istanbul. Whether that is going to, I've tried to find it, I can't find any mention of it, but whether that might mean there might be fans at the Europa League final remains to be seen. Hopefully that falls into place as well, because obviously United have still got a chance of being it. They've got plenty to do though. They've got the game against Granada comes up next Thursday, the first game, and then they've got Roma or Ajax in the semi if they get through. So there's a bit of work to do yet. That game's in Gdansk. If there's fans in Istanbul for the Champions League final, could there be fans in Gdansk for the Europa League final? That remains to be seen. Let's hope so. Ollie will be holding his press conference tomorrow. Let's see how all the lads are who have been away on international duty. Luke Shaw was on the bench for England, so I'm pretty sure it was simply that Gareth Southgate preferred Chilwell in that position in the big game. So that's an interesting one to watch out for come the Euros. I'm sure Luke Shaw will be in the squad, but at the moment I would suggest he's a second choice. So yeah, 7:30 the game against Brighton. Press conference tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ollie's got to say tomorrow. And after that game tomorrow, I'll be back with an update as to if they mention who's fit and who's not fit. They're bound to say 1 or 2 things like that. If you've enjoyed that show, please tell all your friends. Please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anybody. Keep stum.